Looking to start or grow your own local marketing agency? It's an almost endless sea of options, but we're here to help. It's time for you to become a shark. Welcome to the Sharks Live Show, your weekly local marketing jam session. It's time, the moment you've been waiting for. After 167 agonizing hours, they've returned. Get ready for the fastest 60 minutes of local marketing strategy, tactics, tips, and fun on planet Earth. Broadcasting live from their island retreats, smack dab in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, with an enormous amount of aloha spirit. It's your hosts, the Offline Sharks, Tom Gaddis and Nick Ponte.
Woo! Hey, aloha, everybody. Whew. Welcome to the special Friday the 13th Marketing Live Jam Session. Woo!
Holy shit, it's Friday the 13th. I didn't even know that.
You know it's Friday the 13th because Nick's wearing a collared shirt. The whole world's upside down. Mm-hmm. Welcome, everybody. Today's my lucky day, so I'm excited. I see people coming on. Yeah, let's get this party started, Ollie. Aloha. And who else is on here? I see Jacqueline's here. Darla's here. Woo, welcome. Man, super excited to have you guys here on this awesome Friday. I like that shirt, Nick. Where'd you get that?
This is a Banana Republic special right here.
Oh, hey, this t-shirt is a Banana Republic.
Oh, great.
Yeah, I love it.
It's so funny. Yeah, Holly. It's very, very funny.
If you're going to be married to me, you better look good.
You know what's funny, everybody? I don't know if you guys know this, but like living here on Maui, we have like 3 stores. You know what I mean? Like there's no good stores. There's no good stores for guys, especially, right? Like, I mean, let's be realistic. Yeah. So even my other brother, not the brother that's here today, by the way, this is going to be an awesome programming. We have my brother. He's hidden right now. We're going to give away some Cash App money.
He's in the green room.
He's in the green room.
Sipping champagne, waiting to come on.
Yep. He's hanging out with Joe Rogan. But yeah, so we're going to give away some money. We're going to do some Cash Apps. We're going to do all the usual stuff. So stick around with us. But what I was saying is my other brother, who also, like, we will occasionally show up, just like 2 days ago. We're like wearing the same exact thing. I'm like, dude, what? Are you serious? Like the same exact thing.
That happened to us in Barcelona. Remember when we showed up down to meet those guys at the happy hour and we were both wearing like the white shirts and the blue sleeves?
It was so bad, you guys. I wish I don't ever show anybody that picture. Don't ever show it. But we look like just a couple of, I don't know, just ridiculous. A couple of bros.
Yeah, it was pretty funny.
Yeah.
It was pretty funny. Well, awesome. We're super excited you guys are here joining us for, again, the special Friday the 13th session of the Marketing Live Jam Session. And we got a ton of stuff to go over. So I think we should probably just dive right into this because we have a lot of shark shout outs. People are like kicking butt and taking names in that group. And I love it. So why don't we start there? I will fire up my slide. Let's fire up my screen share here. And let's see, here we go. Boom. All right. So our first shark shout out goes to James Healy.
Yeah.
I need to move this closer, but I didn't do that. And James says here, look, quick post. It's been a busy day, as most are. He's a single dad with a second grader at home for full-time distance learning. Oh, James, I feel your pain. That's a full-time job in itself. Doing dad stuff, extended families away, and we haven't slept much, but fortunate to have a business he can work from home when I have time. He was a little late to the call today because he was selling a quick copywriting job, $1,000 for a 3 to 5 paragraph landing page. I mean, that's awesome. And had just launched my latest cohort of my podcast launch party group coaching program. Sold a seat to that while on the call, $497 plus $297 upsell. Way to go, James. So James is doing a couple of things that I think are really noteworthy and that other sharks should pay attention to. One is he mentions they're doing some copywriting gigs. And, that's one of the things that we talk about it from time to time. I mentioned that I did that a little bit in the beginning of my agency. And it's a great service to offer because like when you're working with a local business, right? Like a lot of times copywriters think, oh, I'm going to get in these big competitive markets and you're competing with all these other copywriters. But when you're talking about local businesses, right? There's no other copywriters. I could almost guarantee you there's no other copywriters in your area working with local businesses, and local businesses have no idea about copywriting. So a lot of times you can come in and just apply the basics. Like you don't even have to be an advanced or really great copywriter. You just need to know the basics, like a headline, bullet points. Like you can just do some small things. And because no one else is doing that stuff, like you get much better results for businesses and clients. And I know I did some copywriting, some press releases, some things like that for various clients. I helped a gym with a renewal letter for their members that did really well. So again, none of it was particularly hard because those businesses, they had no idea about copywriting, right? So when I came in and had just a simple formula, like even just a simple formula like attention, desire, action, attention, interest, desire, action can be just applying that formula to something that somebody has, restructuring something they've written using that formula can usually get really great results and really great. The other thing is James is doing some podcasting stuff. And I know there are several people that I've been talking to recently that are doing that are running podcasts in their local area, right? To build credibility and authority. They're not looking to be Joe Rogan. They're not looking to build huge, massive podcast followings. They're just using it to attract the clients that they want in their area and provide value. So really great work, James. Really great work. Keep it up. Anything you wanted to say to that, Nick, before I move on to the next one?
No. You're a little choppy for me for some reason. I think you're a little laggy. But yeah, I mean, I heard everything you said. And yeah, I was really stoked to see this with James. Amazing stuff, man. I don't have a podcast, obviously, but, I listen to Tom's, and Tom's has been great. And I can see how you can go, you can make some moves with that thing. So keep up the good work, man.
Yeah, awesome work. Let's see. Our next shark shout out. Another one goes to James. Look at this. Another new client signed up last night. He hasn't even had time to finish his dang baby shark. And this was a little over $500 client. So awesome work again, James. I mean, that's great. Fantastic. Here. Way to go, James. Way to go.
James is here with us. So huge shout out to James for, taking action, hanging out, and, being a big part of this community. That's awesome.
Yeah, spectacular. Our next shark shout out goes to Tom Picarillo. I hope I said that right. And he said he got an interesting deal last night, $1,200 for reputation. And he said it's minimal work plus total hip replacement at nothing out of pocket. Wow. So he did a little barter there. He will accept what insurance pays, and we have met our deductible plus referral to 60 other providers in the group. That's awesome, Gabe. I mean, who would have thought you could barter for a hip replacement? Like, I mean, that deserves to be like that right there. Talk about the ingenuity of the sharks.
That's insane. That's insane. I mean, I've gotten restaurant like meals comped and things like that, but that takes it to a whole new level. I mean, that's pretty freaking amazing. I mean,
that is thinking outside the box, man. That is freaking awesome. Video Tom. Oh, I hadn't liked that one here. I'm gonna like that one because that's spectacular. So way to go, Tom. Way to go. Our next shark shout out goes to Bruce. Bruce, man, awesome to see you. Looking good in that video. So, I didn't listen to the video, so I'm not going to play it. But I'm sure Bruce is talking about what he's doing here. He's been kicking butt and taking names. And I think, hold on one second. Let me just look at something real quick. I'm going to stop sharing here. Go over to my show notes because I think it was in here what he got, but I scrolled past it. So Bruce. So what we're giving Bruce a shout out for is he got a $2,000 website deal using the agency template. So using our Offline Sharks agency template. He asked the client about a Facebook page and Google My Business, which they didn't have. He ended up verifying the Google My Business for the client. Now he's doing SEO for Google My Business and the website, etc., for $500 a month. So a nice $500 a month retainer on there. So awesome, Bruce.
That's a total game changer right there. I mean, I'll never forget my first $500 per month retainer. Like I was always building, one-off or doing one-off services, doing these little, $500 websites. And for me, that was a huge goal of mine, was to be able to like get something coming in consistently. So yeah, that's a milestone. Congrats, Bruce.
Yeah. Way to go, Bruce. I wish I could figure out a way to get this thing closer to me on my desk, but I have so much stuff on here. All right. So awesome job, Bruce. Our next shark. So the next four shout outs are actually all going to go to the same person. And if you guys have been showing up to the Monday Shark Alliance trainings, you've already seen what this guy's doing and how he's rocking it out. And I love this, this image that he created here, but it's our boy Dorn Brenton. So Dorn, he said, for all you challenge participants, he sold a LinkedIn managed services at 9:45 a.m. So this was on November 9th for $6K. One down, 29 to go. Our goal is 30 sales for the challenge, which is amazing. And just so you guys know, because Dorn has been doing, he's not actually eligible to win the challenge. So don't worry, you still have a chance. Get in there, just sell some deals, get some prizes, get some momentum. But he's been sharing what he's been doing to try to get people fired up. And I love this image.
Yeah,
here. It's awesome.
Super clean.
Yeah, it looks great. So that's the first shout out to Dorn. The second one is his wife sold a reputation marketing for $497 a month. This is on November the 9th as well. Right? He's like something in the air, 4 sales in one day. So all 4 of these must be those sales. So he took about a week off from selling. Maybe we should do this every week. So awesome job, Dorn. $497 reputation. That's great. The next shout out for Dorn is a social media / rep marketing package for $797 a month. And he's already got 3 warm introduction emails from the client, and he doesn't even onboard until Thursday. That's something really to take note of there as well, right? So Dorn signs up a client and then he strikes while the iron is hot, right? Hey, anybody else that I could possibly help out? And he just asked for an introduction. So he's no longer reaching out cold, right? He's got a warm introduction. He can reach out to those people and be like, hey, John Smith told me to reach out to you. Susan told me to call you. Thought this would be of interest to you. Much different conversation than when you're reaching out to people cold. And then while he was on the coaching call, his wife sold a website email AdWords client at $697 to start and then $297 a month. So really awesome, Dorn. And let's see, our next one is, holy cow, this is the 10th, the next day. 6 calls today, 6 new clients. Optimism is contagious. I mean, that is like amazing. I mean, he's just crushing it.
Dorn and his
Don't
wife
ever
make
move to Hawaii, Dorn. Don't ever move to Hawaii.
Dorn and his wife make a killer team. I believe she's doing the sales. They have an appointment setter that tee up the appointments, and his wife does the sales, and then Dorn is running all the different fulfillment and operations. So they have a pretty good setup going. I mean, they're regularly bringing people into the fold, talking to them, getting wins, getting turned away, and then going out and getting more wins. So that's the name of the game. And I mean, you guys see it, and for those of you that don't know, Dorn came in to the Shark Alliance. There he is. He's here. Dorn came into the Shark Alliance probably a little over a year now. Went through all the levels. He's a level 12 Megalodon verified, making over 6 figures each year. And he's been doing some awesome trainings in the Shark Alliance membership as well. So he has 3 salespeople. So that's new. Like, you've grown. You've added a couple since I've spoken to you last about that, Dorn. That's awesome.
Yeah, and I mean, and just so you guys know, I mean, when Dorn came in and we were first getting to know him, like, he didn't have any salespeople, right? It was just him. He's done that over the past couple of years. So awesome work, Dorn. It really is like exciting and great to see you grow and build. And then Dorn's last shark shout out. This is just 17 hours ago, right? He had an in-person meeting with a vet clinic that has 5 vets. They discussed a new website with lots of bells and whistles, rep marketing, social media, SMS service, and email. So here's the breakdown: 6,500 for the website, 198 monthly maintenance, 497 rep monthly, 497 social, 199 SMS, and 99 for email. So he made them a deal, $997 a month package. And they're in an association of vets and are going to refer me to various other members of the association. It has 600 members. So that gets some applause. That's awesome. I mean, spectacular.
Cracks me up every time.
Yeah. That's killer. So awesome work, Dorn. I mean, it's just great to see all that and getting the referrals and continue to reach out and just getting all that traction, right? I mean, it's like a momentum thing, right? Like, I know it can be frustrating, especially if you don't have any clients right now and you're like, I could just never get there. But if you just keep putting one foot in front of the other, just keep moving forward, like it starts to pick up steam.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's everybody's experience, right? Like, it didn't, for me at least, I wasn't just crushing home runs every single day, all day coming out of the gate, right? That's not what happened. I mean, and that strategy that Dorn's using where he's having, he gets in with one client, asks for referrals, fulfills a job for a client, asks for referrals. That's huge. And that really goes a long way. And that really, really helped me out a lot too. I mean, a lot of my initial clients came in that way.
Yeah. Awesome. Why don't we do, let's see, when do you want to do when did you want to slide in some Cash App stuff?
Yeah, let's do a little, we're about like mid or almost midway there. So you guys, I'm going to do, I had a couple really awesome questions that our team put together in our show notes here. So let's do some like Cash App giveaways real quick where, I'm going to ask a question. And the first person to get the answer correct, I am going to give you some Cash App money. So maybe you guys can give me some ones and some twos and some threes in the chat if you guys are down to maybe help out, answer some questions and win some money.
Here comes the money.
That's great. I forgot about that.
I love that. I tried to keep the head bopping to a minimum in the back there for you, Nick.
Yeah. Patty's already look. She's like, the dog is Kevin. That's not the question. The question is not going to be what's my dog's name. Okay, here's a question. Let me open up my notes. You guys ready? Name 3 levels on the path to 6 figures. So 3 shark levels on the path to 6 figures. It's a good question. Very relevant.
Yeah.
Very relevant. Let's see. There's a little bit of a delay.
I think we lost Nick. He'll be coming back. So hold on. I see him coming back on. So here we go.
That was weird. I just got kicked out.
Yeah. Well, you've been a little choppy. Like
so have you. I think it's Facebook or something or StreamYard because you've been choppy too.
Okay, I'm trying to scroll up here and see.
Yeah, those comments they're coming in.
Babatunde. I think Bruce.
Yeah, Bruce got it. Bruce.
Yeah.
Way to stay on it.
Way to go, Bruce.
Here comes the money.
Oh man, Bruce, stick your cash tag in the comments, and then we'll send you some Cash App money.
Yeah, congratulations.
Hurry up and
Bruce.
do it before Tom plays that sound again.
Yeah, awesome. All right. Okay, so we did some cash up money. We had our first winner, Bruce. We're gonna do some more of that coming up here in a minute. Let's do our member of the week.
Okay, let's do it.
Let's do it. Member of the week. Hold on, let me get this here. Where? Yeah, here we go. Yep, it's our member of the week. And I think this will come as no surprise to anybody who's been on since the beginning of the show. But our member of the week this week is the tie-dye marketer himself, Dorn Brenton.
Dorn.
The Masters is going on, so we can do a little golf clap. Right? Golf clap. Congratulations, Dorn.
Yeah, Dorn.
That's
Thanks
awesome.
so much too for everything that you do in this group. You know, you contribute a lot, and I know a lot of people appreciate you. So, and we appreciate you.
Yeah. Yeah, really awesome, Dorn. So congratulations. Let me stop sharing that. Oh, I gotta grab. Hold on. We're gonna do what Tom's reading, but I've got to grab the book. Hold on one second.
Ha.
I forgot to grab it. So okay. So every week we do a little thing, what Tom's reading, and you can find all of the books we recommend. You just go to that link, offlinesharks.com/books. You'll see all the books we recommend. And I'm actually excited about this book because for any of you that listen to my podcast, and you can do that by going to tomgaddis.com, I actually interviewed the author of this book. That episode just went live on Tuesday. And his name is Brendan Kane, and the book is called Hook Point. And so Brendan, for all of you out there doing social media, that's what Brendan does, right? He was the social media guy behind Taylor Swift, behind Paramount Movies, and he's actually got 2 books out. So this is his newest one, Hook Point, which is what I talked to him about on the podcast. And his first book was called 1 Million Followers, and it was basically the blueprint he used to build a 1 million person following in 30 days. So, but that process of building those followers, like one of the things he mentioned on the podcast is it all starts with the hook point. So like you really need to understand the hook point, and then you can implement what he has in there. So both the books are fantastic, and he was a super nice guy. The interview with him was great. So I'd highly recommend you check out the book, and then head over to tomgaddis.com. Check out the podcast as well, right? And yeah, so Hook Point, Brendan Kane. All right.
Nice. That's pretty amazing that he got 1 million followers in 30 days.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. He was. It's really interesting to hear, his strategy and the stuff behind that too, right? Because there's no trick, right? It's about creating a certain type of content, doing it in a certain way to get you noticed and being engaging. So yeah, really smart guy, really great book, great interview with him. So really enjoyed having him on the show.
Yeah. Those are like TikTok numbers right there.
Yeah. Pretty crazy, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Sophie, my daughter, my 11-year-old, she's up to like 14,000 followers on TikTok.
Wow.
Yeah. She's crushing it over there.
That's pretty,
Yeah.
it's impressive.
Yeah.
Start running some ads for us or something.
Yeah. She gets so excited about it. That's awesome. All right. Well, I know we have some special guests. So should we go ahead? I mean, that's pretty much our regularly scheduled programming.
Yeah.
So let's get them out here because we did a training on, was it just yesterday?
Yeah. It was.
Oh yeah, it was yesterday. And Nick, we were talking about Nick's website getting hacked, what he did to fix that. And we brought, the Black Harbor guys on to discuss cybersecurity and stuff like that. It was an amazing training. If you guys haven't watched it, you should go watch it immediately after this live is over. There's a lot of great stuff in there. But we wanted to bring them on, and they're going to have a chat with Nick, and you guys can ask questions and all that kind of stuff. So why don't we bring out Nick's brother, Scott Ponte, and then his business partner, John. Here we go. Well, I'm adding them in. Oh, there we go. Aloha, guys.
Hey, what's going on?
We're here.
Welcome, gentlemen.
Sorry you're getting the upcam shot. I got people working in my office right now, so get kicked out to the living room today.
That's funny. I had some AC guys yesterday too. Like they were trying to come in here in the middle of our webinar. I was like, no.
Yeah, they're repainting my office and replacing some doors, so it's kind of loud in there right now.
Gotcha. Well, yeah, you guys, thanks for being here, and everybody that's on the stream with us now too. I think Tom and my internet here in Hawaii just sucks right now. I mean, it looks pretty. You guys are clear.
John's looking really good.
John's looking real good. Like,
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Yes, sir. And so yeah, you guys, thanks for being here. There's probably a bunch of people that weren't on the webinar with us yesterday, so I would like to give them just a quick little intro as to like what we talked about. I'm not going to go into too much detail. If you guys want to see and hear in detail what we talked about, we'll throw a link up in a little bit and you guys can go review the training. But long story short, my website got hacked recently, right? My agency website. And it sucked. It sucked, especially because we have, since that website got hacked, had one of the best months that we've ever had in my agency. I actually looked yesterday. The number of sales that have come in my agency is a lot bigger than what I said yesterday, which is pretty crazy. And it's growing every day. And the reason is because so many businesses right now are getting online. They're transitioning online. So we've been seeing it in our communities. The sharks that have been prospecting, they've been seeing it with the amount of sales that they've been able to have because, they're helping these local businesses get online. So anyway, if I didn't have my website up and running, I would have missed out on all of that. And fortunately for me, you guys were able to help me. And so, maybe we'll start with John this time. John, maybe you could give us a little background about like what you do and where you're at right now.
Yeah. Thanks a lot. So I am obviously a co-founder for Black Harbor. I'm a cybersecurity engineer. I'm really passionate about digital forensics and incident response when it comes to cyber attacks and everything like that. So I really get a kick out of, cleaning up people's breaches on networks and their computers and stuff like that. And, education and certifications are some things, but I think just having the experience that, I've been retired from the Air Force last year, but I had 20 years in the Air Force. And now I've been out in the civilian workforce for almost 2 years now. And it's not as scary as I thought it was going to be, but there's a lot of different challenges, so I'm learning this side of the game now.
Gotcha. And I don't think I asked this yesterday, but so are you, I picked this up when I was in Denver at one of your guys' cybersecurity meetings that I was invited to. And so there's like a red team and a blue team or something like that, like in the industry. Can you maybe speak to that a little bit? So everybody, a lot of us here, we don't know any of this stuff. And so, the information you guys we had yesterday, it was really translated for us. And so, yeah, that's what I'm asking. Red and blue team, maybe you could help us understand that.
Yeah, it's a easy way for us to kind of describe. Let me turn down my volume a little bit. To describe the side of the industry that you work on. So whereas Scott's experience is more on the offensive security side, so he does a lot of penetration testing and stuff like that. I am more on the blue team side, which is defensive in nature and setting up security and cleaning up after people's messes and stuff like that.
Gotcha. Okay. That's super cool. And so, and we actually have some veterans with us on the call. Don Chafis, this is a good friend of ours. He's also, Tom and I were hanging out with him in San Diego. Thank you for your service, sir. We got a lot of other military in our group too. Even Dorn, our member of the week, he's a Air Force vet himself, which is pretty awesome.
Nice.
Yeah. Thanks to all you guys for your service, by the way. We should have said that at the beginning.
Yeah. Thank you guys for your service too. Everybody that's in the chat right now.
Yeah. And you guys, everybody in the chat, maybe you guys could give us some feedback on your experience. Have any of you ever like had one of your websites hacked before? Like, have you ever had one of them go down because, you know, somebody got in there, or they found your password, or they got in your email or anything like that. Because we're gonna do some Q&A and get some discussion going. And if you guys could put those things in the chat for us, that'll be a good way for us to kind of kick that off and see, you know, what your all experience has been, and if there's anything that we can do to, you know, give you a little more information on to help you out. So I'm gonna
Yeah, my wife actually just, you know, Nick, my wife just got an email the other day saying somebody tried to log into her Google account. They locked them out, and she had to change her password.
So maybe we'll pull Scott in for that one, because maybe it was him. So Scott, maybe you could give some information as to, you know, what your background is and what you're up to.
Yeah, sure. So I'm actually still active duty military right now, and I run with John Black Harbor, our security consultancy on the side and at night. But my day-to-day job right now is doing defense of a global enterprise for the DoD. So everything from like tracking and looking at malicious activity that could be targeting our enterprise to actually responding to incidents that are of interest to us. And then I have some background in, like John said, the offensive side of things. So, you know, essentially what we do, and that's kind of the key service that we offer in Black Harbor, is we do penetration testing and vulnerability assessments, which is kind of industry lingo for we will hack websites or computers for a fee and then tell you how we got in so that you can fix those issues. It's also a big compliance requirement for a lot of industries, such as medical and financial industries. And what we often find is that the simple mistake, the ways that a lot of folks are getting in is through simple mistakes. So that's kind of one of the key things that we like try to preach is get back to basics of security. You know, keep it simple, stupid is really like one of our key kind of things to say. Nothing that we really give our clients is something that's crazy complicated. It's always very basic and very straightforward. And yeah, happy to be here.
Yeah, that's so you said something that kind of stuck out to me, and it's that, you know, you guys actually are looking for the ways to get in. Like your clients hire you to find ways to get in so you can fill the holes before they become an issue. Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, one of the biggest things about offensive security is that when people build websites and they build like, you know, computer environments and stuff like that, they build it with the information they have right then and there, and they make a lot of assumptions on how people are going to use it. But oftentimes people do things that you don't expect, right? Mm-hmm. So like a good example of that is if anybody has ever tried to get like one of their parents to use, you know, some type of application or something, and then they all of a sudden break it, and you're like, oh, I didn't really think of the way to do that. Nick and I have a lot of experiences with this with our dad using iPads and computers. And, you know, so those types of ways that the app wasn't designed to be used can inadvertently cause a security flaw. And so figuring out those weird user behaviors is something that we work on when we do penetration testing. Essentially, we're bug hunters. We look for those flaws or those things that people don't think about when they build or design applications or they build WordPress websites, and then we leverage them for our own profit,
financial gain. And that makes sense, right? It makes total sense because, I mean, before my website got hacked, like I wish that I would have spent some time, and it's not a whole lot of time, you guys. I wish I would have spent some time putting up a better perimeter around my site, doing a little bit more of the basics that, you know, Scott and John are talking about. And I think for most people, they only start really looking into that after they get hacked, after they're locked out, or after their data is gone, after they're compromised, and they're like, oh shit, like now what do I do? And that was my situation. So, you know, just a teaser, you guys, for the training that we did yesterday, like that's a lot of what we were talking about, and setting up the essentials for, you know, getting yourself, I mean, to have that peace of mind, right? Like maybe a couple of you, maybe some of you are thinking to yourself right now, like, I have some websites that I probably haven't really done anything with, and maybe the client websites, and that could be a problem, right? Like, you might want to spend a little bit of time and setting something up so you feel a little more safe, feel a little more peace of mind, your data is protected, because it really, I can tell you from experience, when you're on the other side, that's like the worst feeling ever. It's like the biggest knot in your stomach. And you know, fortunately for us, you know, you guys were there to help us with some of that. So I want to talk about that a little bit though, Scott, because in website hack, and it wasn't anything complicated, right? It was just basic stuff. And like, what do you think for somebody that has a website, you know, just a regular old business owner, like people like us on this call, like, you know, how much time should they really invest into setting something up? If they had like a system to follow, like how much time does it actually take to set something like that up so they can feel a little more safe?
Yeah, so the back to the basics process really should really only take you about 30 to 45 minutes to set up. And that's really for the first time. And a lot of that is just waiting for a few things to install. So it's nothing too complicated. Like I said, that keep it simple, stupid is really the key thing there. And to be frank, a lot of businesses that are operating are not going to be like really targeted by malicious actors, right? Like there's definitely 0-day vulnerabilities and a lot of really high-tech fancy exploits that are flying in the world. There's nobody that's really actually doing that. Most of the time we see WordPress websites getting hacked. It's very low level, easy to find exploits done by folks that are either trying to do ransomware, they're trying to do things like in the case of your website, trying to do a lot of like malicious backlinking to that to drive traffic to their own crummy websites, or like using your domains to run legitimate phishing campaigns against other people. So these are all very simple exploits that we're seeing, very simple. And I wouldn't even call some of them exploits, right? Like using a name and a username and a password that you find on a dump somewhere is not really an exploit. It's just improper use of passwords. So
how does that work though? I want to stop you right there real quick. So what do you mean? Like, I don't even know what that means, but it doesn't sound good. Getting a username off of a dump somewhere, like, break that down for me real quick.
Yep. So, you know, in this day and age, we all see, you know, Target.com was breached, right? Or I don't know, what was like a really big one lately, John?
Lately, well, there was the undercover hookup site.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then I believe there was a Shopify data breach.
Experian get hacked too?
Experian? Yep, Experian got.
Didn't
that
like
was a big one.
Experian?
Yeah.
Experian,
Yep. So
like,
all these companies, they have these big data breaches, right?
Right.
So all these companies have these big data breaches, and what they do is if the company that was holding your data is improperly managing your username and password, which means they don't sanitize that in their databases, they now have your username and password that they use there. Now, human behavior dictates that people often reuse their password everywhere else.
Not me. Never.
Well, not you, because I've trained you.
Yeah. And nobody on this call is doing that, right? Just so you guys
Right.
wouldn't do something like that, right? Okay.
Right. So what people do is they take these credential dumps basically, and they host them on the dark web for sale. And I think the going rate for a password was like 2 cents a password or something like that. It's cheap, right? So they'll take like 1 million credential dump and they'll buy it, and then they'll reuse that password on a whole bunch of different sites and log into your accounts. And so the really scary part about that is that there's a lot of websites now that exist and a lot of tools that exist for like attackers where they can automate logging into all those sites. So they just load 1 million password username and password combinations. They specify gmail.com and then they just go ham. Right. And once they get
a brute force attack. Is that a
nope? That's called password spraying.
Oh, see, you guys, there's a lot of terminology out there that makes no sense to me, to Tom, to maybe a lot of you. And I think the best defense against having to ever have to go learn about that stuff is just setting up a good first line of defense. That way you don't really ever have to go spend some time, and you don't want to know what that shit is. Honestly, I don't want to know what it is. I don't want to have to know what it is.
I will tell you in cybersecurity that what's the term? An ounce of prevention is worth a gallon of whatever, right? Or I don't know, mess that up.
John, did he botch that one?
I think so, but I couldn't do any better. So
Either way, once someone's in, it's significantly harder and scarier to pull them out than to just stop them at the door, right?
Right.
You can't let the rats nest.
Mm-hmm. And so another thing we were talking about yesterday too, maybe you could speak to this a little bit, John, is like the industry, the cybersecurity industry in general. Like, is it, what have you been seeing on your end as like, is the amount of hacks, are they slowing down? Are they growing? Is the industry booming? Is it like bigger than ever, or what's kind of happening out there?
yeah, I would say definitely since the quarantine, things have been getting a lot worse. I actually saw a study that was released today that said that it was from the FBI, and it said that cyber attacks are up 300% from pre-COVID. So yeah, things are really hairy out there right now. There's a lot of new techniques that are getting used, and it's kind of scary because the hackers don't have to abide by any rules, whereas the defenders have certain rules that we have to play by, to keep people safe. So yeah, it's kind of like the Wild West out there.
Yeah, and I mean, I kind of felt some of that. Like when my website got hacked, I kind of felt like, at first I'm like, who would do this to me, right? Like I thought someone was targeting me. I'm like, I'm so special. But that's not what it was, you guys. It's just totally random, and they just try to hack as many websites as they can in this like automated, scaled type of way. And the only way to kind of thwart that is to like spend a little time in advance before that would ever happen to you, and get some things set up, because it almost seems like it's not really about like if it's going to happen, it's about like when it's going to happen. I mean, the more websites you have, the more client websites you have, the more doorways are open into your information. And so you guys, this is another thing I didn't really talk about, but after my website got hacked, I immediately, the marketer in me started thinking about like, well, I have a lot of clients. They have a lot of information that's out there that's probably not being protected. What if I asked Scott and John to help me put together a step-by-step strategy on how to secure my website, because I needed it for myself, first of all, right? And so we did. We set it up on my site. We got Bruce says, Nick, what's your new password? Asking for a friend. That's pretty funny. So we set it up for myself, and I thought, well, what if I offered to do this for a customer of mine for a fee? And I didn't ask for a lot of money at $300. And I literally, and I said this yesterday, it sounds cliche because I know a lot of people are out there saying nonsense. This is nonsense. Not what I'm saying is nonsense, but I literally sent one email, and because of the I think the fear factor from that email, just telling this client like, hey, there's been a lot more hacks going around. I think we should implement, just some basics for your website. He immediately said, let's do it. One email, $300. So there's a huge demand out there. It's very easy to point out to businesses that this is a growing industry. There are more hacks going on, especially with COVID, especially with businesses getting online. So, Tom, maybe we could, I think, put a link to that. Did you build a link for that or a banner for that replay?
For the I don't think I had the replay link. Hold on, let me find it, because Cameron dropped it in the comments earlier.
Gotcha. I think it's, if you could put it up, it's offlinesharks.com/safe. And so, everybody that's here,
safe.
we're going to wrap up in a little bit, but what I'd ask you to do is after this call, not right now, but go to this page, open it up, another tab. We have the replay and the training from yesterday. And, just pause it. Just pause it for now. Wait till we get done with this live, and then go ahead and watch that so you can see the full the full story of how all this came about, and how we are effectively, securing our sites, but also getting paid in the process just by having this information in our war chest. And you guys keep in mind, this is not technical information. The way that it was delivered to me, and I say translated, is because it's really what it was. John did an amazing job putting together some information that, all of you can access to, in a way that, everybody can understand. And what I mean by that is, John, you mentioned something about like a lot of these hacks are really just, they're easy to defend because they're not, they're just, it's basic setup, maybe you could speak to that a little bit.
Yeah, I think Scott kind of talked about it a little bit too, but it's, we always operate with the concept of KISS, right? Keep it simple, stupid. And we like to focus on the basics of security. And I think in building the course, going back and forth and talking about the technical jargon that we were using initially, and then some of the documents we were throwing back and forth, I think we really got it focused and narrowed down to a good non-technical explanation of all these security baselines, factors that we can kind of enact on our websites.
Yeah.
Hey, Nick, and I just wanted to jump in here real quick if I
Sure.
can, because I see two questions that popped up in there that I think that would be appropriate too.
Yep.
A lot of people, so somebody, Facebook user asked, what are the hackers getting out of adding weird pages to your site? And the thing that they're getting out of that, right, is number one, they're using that URL misdirection to drive traffic to their site or to other sites, right? So this is a lot of how, if you see on Fiverr, like, I can get clicks to your website, I can drive your search engine traffic up, right? That's exactly what's happening here. They're injecting all these backlinks into your site, and then they're having their bots click on those, and then that's driving traffic to their other sites by way of your website. So it looks like legitimate traffic.
So they're stealing your link juice, we call it, your authority.
Exactly, right? Because like in the training, you showed your traffic go down because your site was no longer relevant for that keyword, and it was now relevant for like Ray-Bans, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so that's like a big one. And then another question that I saw was, is this only applicable, the product that we created, only for WordPress? It's tailored specifically to WordPress, but I would say that the concepts that you will learn there are not just for WordPress alone, right? The big things that we talk about, like credential management, scanning, backup plans, all of those things, those are applicable no matter what you do on what platform you're on. So while it may not be exactly, the solution may not be apples to apples to WordPress, those concepts still are golden. And I don't want to get into the whole the Q&A thing that we're going to do later on, but we can address some of those questions in that Q&A if people have specifics as well. I'm happy to talk about some of those more unique circumstances.
Yeah. And by the way, thank you, Scott. By the way, everybody that is joining us right now, maybe you guys could put let us know if you've already picked up, because we made a crazy offer just so we wanted everybody to be able to, have this, secure their websites, get access to this information. It really was silly, but maybe you could let us know in the comments if you already picked it up, what you think, just for anybody that is, with us now, curious about or having thoughts about like, hey, I don't have the best password that I use everywhere, or I have 50 websites that I'm not doing anything on. You should definitely be doing something, because I know there are over 100 people already that have already taken action in securing their website, preventing, which is, that's the biggest part of all this, is really the prevention, right? Preventing this from happening. And so yeah, lots of people. So I'm I don't want to say, what's the word? I'm stoked that you guys will be able to set this up and have that peace of mind, because I know it's big for me, and I know for Tom, having your website hacked.
Yeah. I mean, it's not fun. Well, and I mean, when you're dealing with clients too, it's like, I mean, it's bad enough when your site gets hacked, but waking up to an email from a client like my site's gone is like, I mean,
it's pretty much the
just not good.
worst possible case thing that could happen for us. It really is. So
Yeah.
and you guys, we're gonna wrap up in about 10 minutes here. So if you have any last minute questions, you know, for Scott and John, anything that you want to know, now's the time. These guys are, you know, they don't regularly do this type of thing. I mean, we had strategized it. We talked about doing something like this for a long time. They have some pretty high consulting fees for the corporations that they're working for and what they're doing. So, you know, this would be a good chance to ask if your password is decent.
You can, Nick, you can tell them what an hour of our time is worth if you want.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure it's at least like $250 an hour, right? When you're just consulting. Yeah.
Right.
So, and you guys, a lot of people, you know, Holly got it live on the webinar. Dr. Gene says he purchased yesterday. Dorn says he's going to get it after the jam session.
We can answer some of the questions that were up in there if you want to do that.
Sure, yeah. If you see some, pull them up.
Here, let me look through here. I can probably find some too. And then we have another Cash App section too, right?
Yeah, we'll close that with a little Cash App giveaway.
So here's an interesting question. So Patty said, so for John and Scott, so Groove is a online website building platform, right? Kind of like, I don't know if you guys are familiar with ClickFunnels. So there are a lot of these types of tools out there for people where you basically, you're creating your assets on their sites. So Groove is raw HTML code. WordPress plugin would not be a solution for Groove. Do you know, like, do companies like that, like, is the security of those hackings on them? Or is there something that you can do when you're using a tool like that may protect you?
Yeah. So actually,
question. Yeah.
No. I got you. So luckily, I think I saw somebody in the Offline Sharks Facebook group make mention to Groove Pages the other day, and just FYI, like, I do kind of stop in there every once in a while whenever I see a security question pop up because I like to help everyone out. But so that's another decent way to kind of engage John and I, because we do lurk in there from time to time. I did look at Groove a little bit. And so Groove, while it is quote unquote raw HTML, it does look like they use some dynamic content in there. So one of the things to take note is that, using like website scanning tools, like some of the things that we recommend within the training, are applicable even to non-WordPress websites, right? And Groove Pages, like, one of the things that you need to keep in mind with something like Groove Pages is, while there may not be a scanner very specific for Groove, looking at your website content and understanding like all the things that are out there for your website and monitoring those things is very important. So there might not be an automated tool for Groove, and that might be one of the reasons why you don't use something like Groove, is because it's more difficult to protect something from a non-technical or non-cybersecurity person. Is there's not a lot of ways that you can fix a problem when it gets into Groove. So that's one of the things that people don't look into when they look at hosting providers, right? Is if something goes bad, does that hosting provider have like an automated rollback, or can you revert to a snapshot or something like that? So I would say that, like, just because Groove is quote unquote raw HTML doesn't make it less vulnerable. Anytime you allow a user to input data into your website, it's likely you're accepting some type of risk or vulnerability associated with that.
And I would say,
yeah, and I would
just a quick add on to that. It's I would kind of treat it like this, you guys. Like, you're building a website on their platform, essentially. So it's not like you're building it on your platform where you're the one setting up the security. So whenever you're building something on somebody else's platform, you're relying on them to do the security, have the backup, have all those things in place, because you can't really do that yourself. So I can't speak to exactly what the security is set up on Groove, but that's just what you have to consider whenever you're building on another platform.
Yeah. Well, and John, did you want to say something on that?
Yeah, I would just say, a lot of those providers that are about building websites on there, because there's a bunch of them out there who will let you set up a website within minutes, and it's built for those people that want to get content out there quickly. And it's just like everything else. They want to deliver that website and deliver that web page, and security is not even a thought when it goes out there, So I would urge people to look very carefully at those types of solutions, because a lot of times there is no security.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Here's one other question.
Well,
Doran's getting deep here. What's one of the best way to scan a router for open ports to exploit? Doran.
wait, hold on, Scott. Before you answer that one, because this next question tied into what we were just talking about.
Okay.
Because Holly asked, she has this SiteGround site scanner for all her websites, but is this really sufficient? Is what she's wanting to know. And since you mentioned scanners in that answer before, I thought this would be a good time to address this.
Sure. I think that there's two pieces to that question. One, I don't really know specifically what SiteGround Scanner is. I've built one website in SiteGround before, and I wasn't a huge fan, just from a user perspective and like the level of tools, but I would be considered a quote unquote advanced user. So I like a higher level of detail. But two, is that sufficient? It just depends, right? Like every tool has a specific purpose. So scanners, there's a lot of different types of scanners, right? There's vulnerability scanners, there's port exploit scanners, there's a lot of different types of scanners. So it just depends on what that scanner is providing you and also what you're getting out of it, right? Like, is it scanning and is it just giving you a check mark saying you're good? Well, what does good actually mean, right? Scanners really give us just a temperature check on what could be risky and what could not be. And then it also gives us peace of mind that we did our due diligence as people providing a service to them, that it's clear, right? But we're placing a lot of trust in the effectiveness of that scanner too. So I'm sorry I didn't answer that very straightforward, but it's a complicated question.
No, I think your answer made sense,
Yeah,
and you even answered Dorn's question too.
Yeah, I just slide it in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and then somebody asked, do you guys recommend WordFence?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I like WordFence. WordFence is good, and we run it on our own. Well, I mean, to be completely transparent, we run WordPress as cybersecurity experts on Black Harbor, on our website blackharbor.io, and we use WordFence. We use the free version. We don't use the premium version. And it's fine for just basic like firewalling, like we call them web application firewalls, WAFs, and it's fine for that. There are some tweaks and some customizations that you would want to make to really maximize the efficiency of it. But you're definitely not hurting yourself by having WordFence on there. I would say it's the best in market for what it is.
See, that right there, though, Scott. Like that question, and what you're talking about there. I think for a lot of people, that's really what it comes down to, right? Is like there are a lot of tools and there are a lot of scanners out there, and there are the ones like a guy like me, like what I think I should use. I'm like, this one has the best interface. I don't really know what all these little bells and whistles mean. I'm just gonna kind of like skim it and check this one, check that one, check this one. I think I'm good. But really, I'm probably not good. And I think that's where a lot of our sharks and members, we all kind of fit into that box of like how to set those things up and, what decisions to make on which ones to use. And so for those of you that are all with us here, you're going to want to head over to the link, because that's what we talk about, more of that, more of, allowing Scott and John to share their expertise with us and basically answer all those questions, right? Like if you could just get the information from them, if they could just tell you, this is what you need to do, these are the boxes you need to check, this is the information, these are the tools that you need to use, how much more safe would you feel? I mean, I feel pretty safe knowing that, these guys are looking at this stuff every single day. They live in this environment and they made recommendations to me. They fixed my website, and, now I have a pretty safe, secure system. So for those of you that have those questions, you want to go ahead and check out that training after this live.
Yeah. And then, for everybody that jumped in, or might want to consider jumping in, because we're going to do a deep dive with these guys. And this is the kind of stuff we're going to be doing, right? Taking questions and talking more in depth about this and just setting aside some time to go through this. So you guys are super valuable. I mean, you heard when they're working with clients, a minimum at $250 an hour, but they work with some big clients. So this is really a great opportunity to get that information, ask questions, so you have that peace of mind, and you can get it for a fraction of the price, right? Just because they're related to Nick.
And I just want to kind of I think we're wrapping up, but I just want to kind of close with something for you guys to all think about is that, John and I come from, military backgrounds, obviously. And what the military is really good at doing is planning and preparing for really bad situations. Right. And that's one of the things that if this ever happens to you guys, you need to think about and prepare for, right? Like, what do I do if I'm encountering this bad situation? Who do I call? What is that break glass in case of emergency plan that you can take off the shelf when a client calls you at 3:00 in the morning and says, if you can't get my website in 1 hour because it got hacked, you're fired, right? You can't be thinking about and scrambling to figure out what to do at that point, right? You need to have something in place to figure it out right then and there. You need to pull out that index card that says do X, Y, and Z, right? And that's kind of what John and I have prepared for you guys is some of the bones to put that plan together. It's going to be unique for everyone's situation, but we're posing those questions to you and challenging you guys to think about those things before it happens to you, because response in the moment is never going to be good. It's messy. John and I have a lot of experience in responding to disasters and really terrible things. So you guys should be thinking about those things if you haven't yet.
Awesome. Well, thanks, guys. That's a lot of really good information there. And
thanks for having us on.
Yeah. So you guys, let's close. Tom, did you have any final mentions before we do this last little giveaway here?
No. I don't know what nope.
Okay.
No questions. Let's do it. I was
All right,
trying something out and it wasn't working.
You're trying to install WordFence?
No, I was yeah, no, it's all right. It was some
okay, you guys. Last final Cash App question, and this is a cool question. I appreciate you putting this in there, Shashan, in the show notes. So, first person to get this answer correct, get some Cash App money. So the question is, Nick Ponte, me, received a award this year for which award? An honoree of which award did I receive this year? It's kind of cool. I actually have it.
Here comes the money.
Dude, everybody, it's so funny. Whenever we ask a Cash App question, everybody just puts Kevin because they think I'm gonna when I can't get creative. I'm like, what's the name of my dog? And everybody just, I've used that too many times. Obviously,
I don't know. Are you looking at the chat? I wasn't looking at the chat. I was doing the sound effects.
Yep.
Oh, Reed said Tom has his finger on the button again.
Man of the Year, Young Entrepreneurs Council. That was last year. Patty got it. Hawaii Business Leader for small businesses. So,
congratulations, Patty.
Yeah, Patty. Yeah, that was, super cool. That was an award from the Pacific News, small business or business leader of the year for small businesses. That's companies that have less than 50 employees. So super cool. But anyway, you guys, if you've been on this live with us, this stream, and you've been watching this and you have those questions or those thoughts and you're asking yourself, well, is my information safe? Do I have decent passwords? Are my websites safe? Or is this maybe a service that you want to reach out to some business owners and make some money in the process? I would encourage all of you to go to offlinesharks.com/safe. You can check out the replay. It's actually a pretty short replay. It's not a 2-hour training at all. You'll want to go over there, check that out. We're going to have it up for just a couple of days. And anybody that, full disclosure, we do give you an offer, which is we've probably one of the lowest priced ones we've ever had, just because we want everybody to be securing their websites and feel safe with this. And, that's the charter membership pricing for you, all of you sharks that are with us. And we're only going to have that up for a couple of days. So you're going to want to go and check it out now that the stream is ending. And Scott, John, thank you guys so much for hanging out with us.
Yeah, thanks for being here, guys. It was really awesome.
Yeah, thank you guys. It was great.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, thanks.
Well, everybody stay safe out there. Practice aloha. We'll see you next Friday. Same shark channel, same shark time.
You've been listening to the Sharks Live Show, your weekly local marketing jam session. Every week, packed full of local marketing strategy, tactics, tips, and fun. We hope you've gotten some useful and practical information from this show. And we hope you had fun along the way. We know we did. Don't forget to leave a like on this stream. Drop a comment below and share it with anyone you think might find it useful. And if you're not already a member of the most valuable marketing group on Facebook, head over to offlinesharks.com/group to join right now for free. There's more exciting new marketing info coming at you throughout the week. Nick's YouTube video on Sundays at nickponte.com/YouTube, and Tom's weekly podcast called What's the Secret, with a new episode each Tuesday at tomgaddis.com. And then back here next Friday for the Sharks Live Show. Till then, this is the Sharks Live Show, signing off.